I just got a call that says I've not been invited to come because there are people on the team who have not yet accepted that I'm worthy of this award. I had people walk in with a rainbow flag wrapped around them sitting in church, and I had to have church. I had to learn on-the-job training how not to continue to offend. I didn't know that it was offense. Had it been meant to offend, hey, that was a target. If they came the next Sunday, I could have gone for it. It wasn't that. It was in those moments that I said, okay, Lord, this is something bigger than I'm having to learn. I wish I could say that I had a spiritual father to call and say, hey, rescue me. Ooh, I feel the Spirit of God. I'm sorry, I felt the touch of God. I hate the hypocrisy that the church taught us to give and name it honor and say, you don't tell everything. Everything that happens at home stays at home. Well, that's what has cultivated so much and breeded so much. But I want to thank those who I've met and those who have not met. Thank you for standing in the gap. Thank you for praying for me. Thank you for considering me. Thank you for loving me beyond what you knew were misunderstoods.
Hey, family, welcome to Let's Be Clear, the podcast that has just reached 100,000 subscribers, in part because of you. I am so excited about this chapter. We are in a new season with new perspectives, new voices, new faces, and new conversations. Martin Luther King Jr. ascribes much of his success spiritually to the voice of Mahalia Jackson. What a lot of people don't know is that when he went through dark and difficult seasons of depression, he would call Mahalia Jackson in the middle of the night and say, just sing to me. She would sing a cappella out of her own bed. And he said, that's it. I can now go to sleep. It's an amazing thing when it is that you would consider that it took David playing the harp to soothe Saul out of rage and out of anger and out of bitterness. Music is so critical that heaven only had one minister of music, which was Lucifer. He was thrown out, and can I tell you, 2,025 years later, they never hired a replacement because music is that important. One of the most important voices for this generation, for the culture, for the society, and for this era, and for me, is the one and only Kim Burrell. I'm glad to have her with us on today. Thank you.
Really? That made me proud to be just what you described.
I want you to be.
own that.
Take it.
Thank you.
No, take it. I often share with people that they don't know. I played trumpet till I went to Morehouse. And my idol at the time musically was Wynton Marsalis and Miles Davis. And I often reference how Miles Davis would fill out arenas and stadiums and never face the audience. Mm-hmm. He would play with his back to the crowd, saying, I don't want them to see me. I want them to hear my music.
Sure.
I want to say, as your little brother, as your friend, that a lot of times I am enraged or outraged that people allow a lot so that they don't hear the music.
Sure.
And I want the legacy to be the music, not nothing else. I want it to be the music.
You know, I would love to settle with that.
Yes.
Because, and I know what you mean. When I say I would love to settle with that, I do include that perspective. I don't dismiss it. Yeah. But I know that it doesn't. Yes. It doesn't just stop with the music. Yeah. It starts and ends with the reason. And the reason is beyond the music. The music, to me, as powerful as it is the bait.
Yes.
For the greater part of why I exist. I don't have a desire to accomplish anything, not even in music.
Yeah.
And I don't consider myself accomplished as it. I consider myself active.
Yes.
Because as long as I continue to be active, I guess accomplishment will announce itself. Accomplishment won't be able to be pronounced for me in the earth, not from me.
Yes.
I'll be somewhere else. So I live in this realm to receive what they offer as awards.
Yes.
But the goal is the reward for me. And I mean that. That's not podcast talk. That's heart talk.
No, I'm grateful for it. And I want you as listeners to know we had no prep conversation before going into this podcast. I wanted to be real and raw.
Sure.
So I just celebrated my 6th anniversary at New Birth.
Oh, congratulations.
And I just found out recently, and you don't even know it, and let me exonerate my present staff, which is Jonathan Nelson is my Minister of Music, co-director is Tiffany Boone. Neither of them were at New Birth when I got there. I brought them on staff.
Of course.
I'm setting you up for the knockdown.
Of course.
And so I invited you to be a part of my installation when I became the pastor, only for me to discover the letter was never sent.
I'm hurt.
Yeah, so was I.
Because somebody owes me a lot of money for the therapy sessions I got when I thought I didn't get an invitation. I want my money. I've been in therapy behind it. How could you
listen.
take such a leap into something that is miraculous as this?
Yeah.
And I not come. So I'm here now, though.
Yeah, you're here now.
Happy
only
6.
to discover that who was operating in that space was of the mind you didn't like our church. So they never sent the letter.
Oh, wow. Okay, the plot thickens.
Okay. Oh, yeah, no, the plot thickens.
This is great. Okay.
Yes. And I wanted to know how you respond to people assuming things and thinking they can close doors that only God has authority over.
You ready?
I'm ready.
I wait. That's how I respond.
Wow.
I wait. You know, talking is a tool. I don't mishandle that. And listening is an even better tool. But waiting has been my truth that has given me peace and growth and maturity and given me time to look within. When you are born into religion, it is very hard to discover after so many years and so many agreements that you've made with your upbringing and your growth and your surroundings that some of this just may not be what is workable. Not in this fashion, without disrespecting what it has done and does in and through people. But I found out that there were perspectives of religion that disconnected me from a truth of what I was receiving from God. So because of that, I've gotten rid of the things that have been religious that has interrupted me from understanding the nature of God for my life. And the religious environment I grew up in was so convincing and so inviting and so attractive enough that I copied it. I even thought at levels I could master it because of how it presented. And then I started digging into the root. When I started getting responses like the mindset of that, she didn't come because she doesn't like our church. It's something to hear a result of a thing that you have never had a conversation about, that you have not been a part of, that a whole team have come up with your decision, your idea, your personality, and you have nothing to do with it. You wait because the moment comes, even if it's 6 years later.
Wow.
It's good.
Yeah. No, that's significant.
Yeah.
I've never seen the church as bipolar and conflicted within itself when the civil war between you and the LGBTQ community. What it is that you said is not anything different than what Kojic has said, what PAW has said.
I just said, they taught me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was as if they had never heard this a day in their life, and respectfully, you weren't one of the generals of the church.
No.
You weren't a bishop of the church. But it was, give us Barabbas. Yeah, and I think it garnered a much larger conversation on where was the duplicitous nature of the Black church.
I'm glad that comes to you. I'm glad that you're revealing that was a perspective of importance to you.
Yes.
It was just proven through too many to name. I hope I didn't step on your words. Are you in mid-thought?
No.
Okay, because I respect how you feel about it. And it feels good to hear someone in my field, in my religious field, talk from that place, because I didn't begin to feel abandoned until it became way too quiet, when the noise was louder than the surrender of what I thought should have been the church to say, oh, no, we all say that. It's how she said it. Y'all make her take responsibility. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So when that didn't happen, I said, oh, this is something else.
Yes.
All right, let's readjust. I see that this, I'm going to tell you, I resolved 1,000 times about a million things, because it gave me room to, because I refused to blame anything or make anybody else come into a circle of what I was figuring out that God had me in. After all of the details of what you just explained, other people did it. Other people have said it, even in more harsh ways. I absolutely garnered posture from people that influenced me. And the influence that they had on me started at a very young age, in church, so to speak. But their posture was that of a very aggressive one. It was a slight version of what the world heard and saw me do. It was a female, soft, sure, spirited delivery of what not only I had garnered from the environment of what I've grown up in. I was sure of the motive of why I was doing it. That gave it passion that came off as abuse to those who don't understand we have a world in church. Like, when I say this, we have such a world. We have our own language. We know we know people that are in church, how we dress. We can go to the grocery store and say that's church. Right. And it's not an Easter suit. It's just we have a spiritual posture that we know it's church. It's churchy. I'll never forget, I got to London, England many years ago, and I got there and I'm switching out the money before I left the airport, making the exchange, and the church in me said, when I received the money back, I said, all right, Mother better have our own money, because Queen Mother was on it. And the person behind the petition said, Her Highness the Queen. She corrected me in that instance. What I loved about that, what I learned from that, is that she had been taught to respect and to honor and to do what she did for. Even behind there, even though I was foreign, she didn't have time to teach me a lesson, but show me, this is how we respect it. She didn't bash me. That's the misfortune of the four walls of the church. They don't always know what it takes to be beyond the four walls. You know, a lot of what has become the church in the earth had no social media, had no nothing, so they got off. Those of us who got the gift to do more than the four walls of the church, we didn't necessarily get the training. I didn't, of how to handle the world and speak to the world with the same conviction, same understanding, same level of anointing, and make it stick without having to be the posture of what we're all used to. I didn't have that outfit. I had to learn it through the ridicule of others. I had to learn it through all of the screams, the hollers, the kicks. And the truth of the matter is, Pastor, after I found out that there were words that were vicious and it started to turn into that, my family suggested that I turn off the social media. They didn't want me to be hurt, because I'd given them the rule, hey, this is not y'all's fight. I need y'all to calm down. Don't go on social media responding, trying to defend me. I'm your sister. But they don't know that. Right. They don't know what I mean to you. You got to relax. So they said, well, if you want us to calm down, you got to come off of your social media, that kind of thing. And so with the church not necessarily saying we all say this and we have all said this and our forefathers taught us how to do this, I found out that it was a bigger fight. When you end up on the front cover for something that everybody has said, when you drive up to your house and helicopters are over your head, news cameras are walking to your door without your permission, your 80-plus-year-old father is walking to your door to tell cameramen don't walk up to your property with cameras, this, that, and the third. You walk outside to go to a place to eat. And there's a constable outside of your house because somebody does care. That's a part of law enforcement. And they heard that your nice little S550 that you've been driving has 3 gunshots, the back of it. One that is directly behind your head, at the bottom, same area, and then in your trunk. 3 gunshots, really. So constable comes out, lives at my house 7 days straight. When one would pull off, another one would come. I drove up to my church without my permission. The Muslim nation surrounded my church. They walked upon me and they said, hey, sister, the Christian community is not doing what we think they should. We don't see enough of them. So we are here. You know Cornell did, right? Yeah. And so all of the guys show up and I say, of course, come on in. And so I'm looking at bow ties and suits and order and love from the Muslim community to say, these were their words to me, Dr. Bryant. You know, they say, hey, Burrell, we wake up to die. said, we're here for you. I had people walk in with a rainbow flag wrapped around them sitting in church. And I had to have church. I had to learn on the job training how not to continue to offend. I didn't know that it was offense. Had it been meant to offend, hey, that was a target because they came the next Sunday. I could have gone for it. It wasn't that. It was in those moments that I said, okay, Lord, this is something bigger than I'm having to learn. I wish I could say that I had a spiritual father to call and say, hey, rescue me. Ooh, I feel the Spirit of God. I'm sorry. I felt the touch of God. I didn't need one. I needed Father God. I needed his nature. I didn't need a philosophy. I needed order. I needed growth. I need maturation. I need not to be told that I'm a great singer right now. I don't need to be reminded. So God let me take on a job, an assignment for 9 months that I didn't see coming. I was minding my business, continue to do whatever doors were left open for me, to get calls from churches that says we have to pull our money because we can't be affiliated with you. And I'm thinking for the things I learned to do from the church. Oh, okay. It's an even deeper fight. Lovely. Thank God I saved money from the real deals I made. And so I had gone on into life to continue to embrace the detail of what was inevitably happening without an aid, without, hey, so what do I do next? Give me some instruction. I got calls of encouragement. I never forget one of the first phone calls I got was from great woman, Dolores Winans, the mother of the great legacy of the Winans family. And she said what she said to me. And I answered that way, not to keep the details of what really would garner praise to her, but I have learned how to even protect those who the fight wasn't for. There was some artist who called me and said, I'm going online. I said, no, don't do that. Let this crowd have only me. Let them eat us one at a time, if that be the case. Let me have it. Don't do it. Save it for when your time comes. Because if you continue to preach Jesus, your time is coming. So just save yours. I'll be here for you. Wow. Just when Wendy Williams kind of said whatever she said about the Clark sisters, I jumped in the comments. That was probably 3 to 5 years after my event. And I jumped in the comments right away. I said, all right, you're touching royalty. Don't make me come to New York and have a conversation with you. And somebody said, wow, Kim Burrell, I didn't even see people come to your rescue this fast after, what happened to you. I didn't respond to that. I could have and said, I know you're right. I'm witty. I can come back quick. You know my mind.
Oh, yeah.
I'm witty, but I was reminded in those moments of my growth. The Lord said to me, with your wit even, he said, I gave you your wit for inventions, not conversation of defeat, to engage in and bringing people into a circle of a different level of conversation from your perspective of how you feel about what they're saying. Are you kidding? I'm not throwing punches with that. When I would hear words that deception gave people to say and misunderstanding in a moment that they don't know about a posture of what church does, and they don't know that I was doing this from what I've learned, and I'm still locked in an era of time with my life that I have to do this. This is made just for me. I have to do this. I literally made sure that I covered others to not come into that ring. I made sure I talked to my artist friends. Don't say nothing. I don't care if they call you. Tell them you have nothing to offer. I know you love me. Leave it alone because they're going to get everybody. Just chill. It's okay. I got it. There's a lot to this story that I'm going to continue to expose in the documentary that I'm building even now, because there's so much more to me than that. But it gave me a platform that made people believe that that's all there is to Kim Burrell, the controversy of her mind and what she decided to say to hurt others. And she came and apologized even to the LGBTQ. And that's what the church decided to prove, even more so, unfortunately, to the world, how ill-equipped we are as a conglomerate, why we cannot get along on the same platforms, why we can't afford to see someone of your caliber walk in an environment that you have helped to save with your education, with your posture, with your fight, with your bravery, with your ability to divorce in front of the world and recover well, but you're still intimidating when you walk in a room to your brothers, to your sisters of the faith. We're in bad shape, and we need God badly.
I have been in public life my entire life.
I sympathize with you.
Yeah.
I do.
And I have never felt the pushback that I felt from when I went to a Christian LGBT convening. They brought me to talk about social media and marketing and the impact of that. And I apologized for the role of the Black church inflicting domestic terrorism.
Thank you.
that the same level of hate that white extremists have inflicted on us is what the Black church has done to that community.
It's true.
And the brutal outrage of pastors who said, how dare you love? How dare you beg for grace?
Oh, wow.
When I consider myself a champion of human endeavor and human rights. So I say, okay, it's wrong for the police to beat Black people, but it's not wrong for the Black preacher to abuse people. And it really was, it was shocking for me.
Was it?
It was.
You know, from what I have endured, I ask that with a smile and I go, was it? Because I know what it feels like and I know how to recover. That's why I have a smile when I go, was it? Because you're still here.
Yeah.
And you're meant to be here.
Yes.
And it was such a necessary thing. You say when they called you and said, how dare you? I just wish in some way that they would have finished their question properly. To me, you know, when you make that kind of call and you're calling one kingdom to another kingdom citizen, it should go like this. How dare you expose what we've been hiding in our homes for years, and we have to wait for our children who are gay to come to our tables at Christmas and Thanksgiving, and we have to embrace them as our children when we're really filled with hate for the choices that they've made to embarrass us because of how hard we preach against this. How dare you? See, that's the finishing of the question, not keeping from exposing what you're hiding. I hate the hypocrisy that the church taught us to give and name it honor and say, you don't tell everything. Everything that happens at home stays at home. Well, that's what has cultivated so much and breeded so much that has caused us to have to work double hard to get this double honor.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, but I'm determined to fulfill the work of God and smile through it, but fight the real fight. Yeah. And my reasoning, I'm just going to go here.
Oh, let's go.
We had 100,000 on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's take it to 2.
Yes. I'm here for all of it.
You know, I got a call from Don Jackson, the owner of the Stellar Awards.
Yes.
And let's just say during the time of my exposure to the world from the perspective of whatever took place that caused all of the riffraff with the LGBTQ, it was not, let's start here. It was not for them. I'll get back to that. I'm on Don, aren't I?
Yes.
Okay, bring me back to when it started, okay?
All right.
I'm 52, don't judge me.
You look great.
Thank you. This brain of mine doesn't like to agree with it, neither does my knees, but that's another story. But Don Jackson gave me a call and he says, we want to honor you. Here it is, 8 years after the event. And he says, we want to honor you with the Aretha Franklin Icon Award.
Wow.
And I did not want to separate myself from that opportunity whatsoever.
Right.
And the reason that I say it that way is because I had to think before saying, that I don't mind it, because they were silent so long. You know, they never said anything. You know, except that you were not welcome. I know Don would not want me to necessarily expose that, but to his defense in the stance, he asked me to meet with LGBTQ in some way before even receiving the award, because they were supporting in such a way that they felt obligated to say, we're not done hating her, or we're not done disliking, or whatever. And your freedom to do this, we're on board to support what it is you do, but she's not a part of that support yet. And so he had to call me and say that. Dr. Bryant, instead of me starting what I know could have been a war, in my place and mindset of sacrifice that I have become for the sake of the kingdom and for what God has given me to do, for me to move forward, I decided to take that meeting. I said, instead of me saying, okay, hello, everybody, it's Kim Burrell. As you know, I've been championed as the Aretha Franklin Icon Award winner by the Stellar Awards. They've told me to come. I've told you to come. And I'm so proud of the moment. But I just got a call that says I've not been invited to come because there are people on the team who have not yet accepted that I'm worthy of this award, and Don has agreed. Instead of me taking that and extending it and saying all of what I could have said, it only would have started a conflict with gospel. We're already suffering.
Right.
The Stellar Awards are not as packed as they used to be. Those that are there, they know that. It's not what it used to be. It doesn't have its same glory.
Right.
So much has changed in the industry, in music, and in the kingdom. So with that, I didn't want to diminish even that. I said I won't uninvite people and give them an option to feel a certain way because of the stance that this man is having to take. It's too big of an entity. So let's have the meeting. Why not? I have nothing to hide. And so in that meeting, there were things that were done and said that I had every right to say, well, hey, take your award and
Right.
the pictures of my own and go for it.
Right.
But I decided to hear what they had to say. And I felt it was time. Because what's an apology? If it's not needed, there are a lot of times that I heard and saw words that people identified themselves as LGBTQ, and they were saying on there, and I didn't hear it as ridicule. I swear it. I heard it as help. Give me clarity. You hurt me. That was wrong. I don't care what my motive was. It was wrong.
Right.
It was wrong. And so it needed to be fixed. Those people matter that heard it wrongly. And that's what has happened to a lot of what has happened in the kingdom. We have lived by misapplied scripture. and it has given us a place in the world that is not respected. And we have to almost beg people to believe in God again because he has been named something that he is not. And he has been represented in large spaces in the nature that he is not. And he has been taught. And he has been a version of him has been taught that has made a lot of people not want the true and living God. But he does exist. He exists beyond our egos. He exists beyond our inabilities to say that we're sorry. He exists beyond what we call church. And I just want those who have interest in God to take interest in him based on your own account. Search for him through where it is you believe he is. And the church is not always, but he is still in the church. As to why I'm here with you, as to why I continue to do it in his name, in churches, he still is in church. And I just hope that people who have been offended by me, by other preachers, will consider again, let me look at my camera, God again, beyond us. That's all.
No, that's beautiful. I just buried my dear friend Angie Stone. And I am amazed that the two of you's anointing and gifting is so powerful that it defies the boundaries of European standards. Because a lot of what has happened to music has been reduced to marketing.
Yeah.
It is not what you deliver, it is what you look like.
It's true.
And so
That's a very, very powerful statement. Reduced to marketing, as big as marketing is. I was speaking with a company that I'm about to engage with that spends $200,000 a year just in a marketing company for what they do.
Yeah.
And to hear you make that analogy, it triggered something in me that you considered marketing to be small. That diminishes what we have.
Yes.
It says a lot, and I take that, and I understand it, and I appreciate it, because it is a value that is hard to convey, especially to a people who have not taken interest in learning that it's more beyond than what it makes you feel like.
Yeah.
We live this. The windshield wipers are going for most, and it's clearing the rain. But in my case, like that, it's not an interruption. Hearing that, it just became a part of my day. It doesn't throw me off. A windshield wiper for me is the tune to Rocket. You keep me running, you rocket, gave me a star. Y'all next to me, y'all waiting on a light to change. But the windshield wipers are singing a song to me. It's just a difference in the mindset and the personality and what the gifting. And people don't know living with that is not something that we have preparing to come to the stage to present. Living with that is a part of our conversation, is a part of our makeup. It's a part of how we treat people at the gas station. It's a part of what makes us hear babies cry in a totally different way. It's what helped me become a really good mother. When my son was 4, I never mothered it. I had raised my sister's children, but they didn't come from me. But when I had my, help to raise them respectfully, Kathy.
Yes.
Oh my God. And so when I had my own child, I remember driving with him one day, and Christian was 4 months, which, by the way, I hope this doesn't make you feel any older than we both are. Christian is 22.
No way possible.
Yeah, I know. And plays in his own band. He travels with them, and it's a Pakistani group of people. I've cultured him great. Okay. And so what life has. But doing and being creative is a job. And coming around people who are cultured not to understand it is an even bigger job. When you are commissioned to them and you have to wait to find out you're not only assigned to them. And I've had to wait in a developmental room with bright lights. That was a dark room.
Wow.
Yeah, my dark room had bright lights. And I've had to learn how to develop with that. Like you said, I was born in the lights. So was I.
Yeah.
In the eye of the public, born with a target. That's a book. You can't steal that.
No. I'm going to let you write it. Yeah. Our generation, I think, has, Kim, a major disconnect. And there's a great circulation on where's R&B.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this generation has adopted rhythm and divorce blues.
Mm-hmm.
So we like to dance,
right,
but don't want to take time to cry.
Right.
And it is out of that suffering that you birth that sound. I want
true.
to know, how do you feel your divorce impacted your music?
Oh, God, it freed me. We both knew we didn't deserve each other in such a way. And we met and married within 4 months. He was a genius.
Not possible.
It happened, and it did. We met and married within 4 months. And you had the quality of who we were then, which would have made us being married now 25 years had we stuck it out. But we both knew that we needed a thing. We thought it was in each other, and we thought that it was going to take marriage religiously. Our religious minds took us there, and we thought that marriage would seal the deal and make what we had found out about each other in the brain make it even better. So our creativity brought us together. We knew nothing. We both had parents who had failed marriages, and not to blame them, but who do we learn from? We're not born with a list of things to do, or rules. We have to learn as we go. But anyway, what life had brought us into, we were both in our 20s and making 20-year-old mind decisions with a lot of perks. You got money in the bank to do what you want to do. Go for it.
Yeah.
You make marriage a thing to do and not a life to live. And that's what I did. And I made it a thing to do, and it lasted for as long as it did to produce our son. And to this day, we have great communication. As most in our culture, they don't necessarily teach to maintain that, whether it be taught in the home and you do it on your own or after you come out. But whatever. But our son is a great testimony of why we had to at least meet. And so
wow,
it is
how old is Christian?
22, accepted.
22.
Yeah, man.
So tell me, because you out to bond with a 22-year-old, he fully grown.
Mm-hmm.
How do you finish raising a 22-year-old grown black man and then adopt a whole grown Negro, Tyrese? Tell me how you take this whole grown man and make him a son. Tell we need to see it, because one day I'm just scrolling and he's saying, my mother coming to town. I got to go see my mama.
Him. Don't he say it like that?
Yes. I need to see why my mama putting this dress on and who trying to date my mother. I'm like, wait, what is happening?
Exactly.
Tell me how you adopted a full grown man.
And what is his name?
Tyrese.
And his last name is what?
Gibson.
Y'all need no explanation? Okay, and there it is. So, having the first part of it is I'm to finish raising a 22-year-old man. That's an oxymoronic statement to me.
Yeah, because you never finish.
and no. Yeah, and no. I have to tell myself the mommy side of me. Because see, you men, y'all got something else going on that I wish we had.
Yes.
But we can't. And we don't. And the mother side of me has had to finish raising him so I won't continue to. Because if I don't finish raising him in some way, I won't allow him to be the man that he's inevitably become. And I will get in his way to keep trying to garner his thoughts. And now I have to see who the grown side of him is so that I can adjust to becoming, if he needs something. I'm just trying my best to mother him and not raise him. So it's a different perspective for me with that. Now, in my raising, and I notice his immaturity, I will step in and say, from that perspective, let me raise this up in you.
Yes.
But I have to treat him like the man that, because he wants to be that. He's an only child.
Yes.
And he feels that spoilage. When you come home, you get off the bus and literally Ty Tribbett is in the rain with a umbrella waiting for you to get off, and you're only 6. You come home one day and your auntie Whitney is in the house, and you go to sleep playing footsie and fight with her in your bed. That's been his life. And Tony Royster Jr. comes to the house and he's got you some sticks. You're 2 years old. You're on stage with me. You come there and Harry Connick Jr. says the second half, we're going to put Chris on the drums and you're only 8. So he's had a lot of moments that has built him into the person that I love that he has become. He is my greatest accomplishment so far. And I've done quite a bit.
No, that's a blessing. That there are a whole lot of people.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What you going to say?
No, I didn't. I forgot the second part of the answer.
Tyrese. We still waiting on Tyrese.
Here we are.
Yes. Fast and Furious.
Yeah, and that's how quick this answer is going to be. He's one of one.
Yes.
He gave me a call about I don't know how many years ago, but we've been in each other's lives a long, long time. But this reconnection is something that he needed, and I didn't give him that. It became a nickname. And they all call me that because I have a mature stance in our circle and a standard, And so they kind of gone to the name Mom is safe, you know. And he just calls me Mama like I had him. And he calls me Mama because he needs it. And what I give him that gives Mama energy, although I'm only 6 years, if that many, older than he. And there are some that are older than me that calls me Mama because of my stance with them and position that I take and, the spirit of my advice, so to speak. But he does that. I don't know why he uses the dialogue. I guess he says this is what he wants to do. When he says statements like that, I'm going to wish you where he's just crossing over his line. He just wants to get in my life. And then, and I let him know that, hey, Moonwalk, let the people know that was for social media. You run nothing. Stop it. So, we have a beautiful relationship to the degree. I know the codes of all of his homes.
Wow.
I never have to ask permission for anything that he owns. And that's from all the cars. And literally, I went to his beautiful home. He has 2 right around the corner from each other in LA. Why they do what they do with their money, it's them. But I went to one of his houses and I said, I've got to go to the store tomorrow and I don't want your people driving me around. I'm independent. I don't want that. So he went and bought. He says, a S550 because I guess he knows that's what I drive. So he goes, hey, I went and got you a car for you. Got it for what? You have 11 cars, man. Just give me the keys to one of the cars. He said, I want you to drive.
I'll be your uncle. I just want to bring me in the family. If y'all just buying out cars and keys and we need a family reunion. I need to get into this family somehow or another.
You're already in it. Just come to the house and he'll prove it to you.
No, I want to listen.
It's just
show
that.
and prove.
Oh, are you kidding me? He loves you. He needs to come to the church. He's right here. Yeah. He lives here sometimes.
Make the connection.
Well, I hadn't been, although it's been 6 years, so I guess I'll get him to come. We honor the Lord.
Name a Sunday.
First of all, let's get the staff in here that says I didn't like them.
They're no longer with us.
Okay, thank the Father.
That team is no longer with us.
Can I say something?
More than one thing.
You said they're no longer with us. I'm being dual dynamic right now, but I feel a little bit vulnerable to say this, and I feel safe. You're such a smart guy. And then your wife is here. She's my new bestie. We'll know it. Anyway, we'll get to that. You'll begin to see our social media flare-ups. Anyway, you said they're no longer with us. I stopped because that's one of the worst statements I ever heard in my life. And I'm going to tell you why. No, and I know how to separate it. But my brother Kevin died. Right when all of everything kicked off. And he died February 6th, 2017, and everything shot off in 2016. And I'll never forget the last words he texted my phone was in the words of Stevie Wonder. He says, "Don't you worry about a thing." And that was just his way. This was after, don't get it twisted, this was after he had come to the church. And, he told the people, hey, to y'all, she's Pastor Kim. This is my baby sister. Y'all walk light. Y'all have a great evening. As he walked off, you could see his gun bulging. Everybody kind of knew because everybody knew that was Kevin, you know, that he speaks by way of gun. If he didn't leave me anything, I own all 9 of them, and I know how to use them. He took me at 12. Anyway, we snuck in. Y'all be encouraged. Anyway, when he passed away, I was standing there, and he was only 50, and I didn't have time to worry about what the world was saying. I was grieving.
Yeah.
When the world thought I was reading the comments, I was somewhere trying to keep my mind in perfect peace because my best friend left. My buddy, my protector, my guy was gone. I didn't have time to, I'm about to cry now, yeah. But I didn't have time to worry about that. Because to hear the doctor say that broke my heart on so many levels. And The doctor looked at me and he removed that stethoscope and he said, "He is no more." And you know what I said to him? Because you know my mind is quick. I said, "Hey, man, don't say that to me. Tell me another way." He says, "I'm sorry. I saw you telling me my brother's dead." He says, "Yes." I say, "Tell me that. Just do it for me. Just tell me he's gone or he's dead. But don't say he is no more." Because there was something about that statement that made me have to get rid of all of him. And he meant so much more to me than just dying in that moment.
Yeah.
So to hear it say that he is no more took me somewhere. I was offended because I'd gone through that before. I watched my mother die in my house in 2011. And it was a different exit. That's your mother. That's the one that prayed for you. That's a whole nother you just went through.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother perspective of loss. That loss actually for me contained succession. But losing Kevin, it contained somewhat of a recession. And I had to readjust in accepting that the inevitable is taking place right now. And there's nothing I can do. I'm hurting and my man is leaving me. My protector who walked in the church with his gun.
Right.
Who was ready. Came in, told the Muslims guy, "Yeah, y'all check in with me when y'all come." That boy was something else. He say, "Yeah, I know y'all here for my sister, but who protects her from birth?" "Yeah, that's me. I'm over that department. So y'all come."
I'm over that department.
He said, "Y'all meet me in the office. I love y'all suits. I love everything y'all do. But come and see me. Because if anything jump off, we're not throwing hands. I got to meet whoever it is from a distance because I mean it." You know, I had to keep all of that under. See, people don't know. It was a lot that I had to endure because my words made a lot of people have to endure a lot.
Yeah.
So I needed my own job of enduring until I could get to the place where those who will choose to hear me, that is up to them. Those who will choose to see God or just see the value of Kim Burrell beyond what they limited it to based on occurrences and moments. Here's to that. But I had to choose to keep going in that moment when I wanted to give up. I wanted to entertain leaving the earth through suicide. I had heard it worked. And I was going to entertain interviewing what that would be for me in the most dignified, religious way. Until God had to free me. And the Lord used my brother's voice. He said to me, I sat on the side of the bed 3 weeks after Kevin passed away. And I said, "Hey, God, if you don't want me to help you, you better help me." I said, "If you don't want me to help you, you better help me." I said, "I don't want to leave this earth. I know I got more to do, but this pain is unbearable. I can't keep getting up, feeling like I can reach for something and my arm don't work." That's what it felt like. So you got to help me. You got to help me. So he used the tone of my brother's voice. He said, "You know the reason y'all feel the way y'all feel when we leave the earth?" And I knew it was God because he wasn't just addressing me. I knew he was talking about me and my sisters and my grandmother, those of us who were left. He said, "The reason y'all feel the way y'all feel when we leave," he said, "because y'all don't know what happens to us when we go." He said, "If you knew what happened to us when we go, you wouldn't feel like you feel." And Jamal, I think too much because I said, "God, if this is your way of trying to just talk me out of this is real cute." Say, but it does feel good.
Yeah.
And it feels like it's working. So I'll take it. I'm going to believe that something greater happens because the pain is unbearable. Yeah.
No, it's a lot. A lot of people see people in a celebrity space and forget that you're actually human, that you're actually a sister, actually a daughter, actually a mother. And it gave no thought to her son can be reading this.
Right.
No,
and he did.
Yes.
Over and over until I had to continue to be who I was so I could continue to help him to become who he's becoming. I could not fail in front of him.
Yeah.
He didn't have a father in the home to say, "Hey, son, da-da-da-da-da." He had to have a mother who had to give him strength by way of the Holy Spirit's guidance that would impact him as if a father did. That's how I had to think. I had to talk to him like that. And I had to build him where I was being torn down.
You've done an amazing job of navigating both of those spaces. I'm going to 90s R&B person all
Me
day
too.
long.
Me too.
I can listen to Jodeci on nonstop.
I promise you.
Those are my people.
I promise you.
Who in contemporary R&B would you want to work with?
I would answer, but we already have. And Stevie Wonder.
Yeah.
But who I want to work with, dead or alive?
Alive. No, I'm saying who's in rotation in 2025.
Oh, who's in rotation?
Yes, yes. Not legends, classics, contemporary right now.
That's a legend or that's out there?
No, who's emerging? They out there.
Oh, shoot. That's my list. It's
Okay.
long. Bart Orr. Bart Orr's father is a world-renowned pastor out of Memphis, Tennessee.
Yes.
And Bart Orr is a genius who is a PK and all the details that come with it.
For those of y'all don't know, that's the flying preacher's son who came down off of the balcony off that cord.
Indeed.
Yes.
And his son is a mastermind of a musician, and he's who I'm working with. I did a set at Sirius XM recently in New York, and he MD'd that. And it was most amazing, and it made me want to bring him on. He's going to MD the Live at Blue Note in New York City. He and among some other geniuses that'll join me. But he and Troy Chambers out of Philadelphia. I'm doing the City Winery as well Easter weekend in Philadelphia, and Troy's going to MD that.
Nice.
And I took Bart with me to Paris recently, the last 6 months, and I do this now because I have done enough to know that people know that I exist with the help of the media and even in the so-called wrong light. I realized in that level of exposure that God had to take me in those continents. I was on front page China and front page London, because I'm coming. I'm on the way. I had to be advertised some way or another. And because of this exposure, and because the platform widening itself, I have no other reason based on what God downloads to me of what it is I have to do, that the reason for that season was because of where I'm headed. I'm not bound to the results of what other people may see. I understand what it means for me. So I stay in preparation for that. So it includes these people. I don't know how to keep going without remembering what is. There's an existence around me that is emerging and budding, and even relationships like Brandy and Jazmine, we still have an offering that we've got to give to the world, meaning Brandy Norwood and Jazmine Sullivan. Because these girls, I met Jazz when she was 12 years old, and I know what role I play in their lives. And now, at my understanding now, they're not going to sing just like me. They're going to sing with me now. We're going to sing together because there's a language that needs to be given to a world that's listening for art. Whenever I go to Paris and I perform, I go to Lyon, I go to Rome, and I do these things. When I come off stage, I feel revived. I feel understood. I feel loved in a way that evidently the American culture hasn't learned to receive me. It's only by their response. And a lot of people say, oh, people love you in America. I can't tell. Their response doesn't always tell the truth. You know, the ones that love me, I appreciate it. They don't say it loud enough. They hide when I'm hurting. Not all of them. If I can also take this moment, I have never taken time to truly thank people. I've thanked those who call me in private, but I want to publicly thank people. I haven't even thanked people because I didn't want them to be hit. I didn't want them, oh, you agree with her? I didn't, but I want to thank those who I've met and those that I have not met. Thank you for standing in the gap. Thank you for praying for me. Thank you for considering me. Thank you for loving me beyond what you knew were misunderstoods. Thank you for understanding that it was a necessity to pray for me. Thank you for correcting me. Thank you for saying things that were relevant, that were needed for my correction. I want to thank you for that. Not just for those moments, but other times, people have taken my words since then and taking all of what I say to be against something. And I can't help that. That's something they got to work through. But I want to thank those who understand it and continue to pray.
Yeah. One of my regrets is the world knows you as a singer. Mm-hmm. What I regret is a lot of the world didn't know you were a preacher until the controversy.
Sure.
And have no idea, added to that you also pastor.
Uh-huh.
How are you juggling both of those? You are not just an artist, mm-hmm. But you operate in apostolic authority of charge over people's lives and souls, which is a great responsibility that is not a performance.
It is absolutely that. And my response to that is this. What will be discovered more in the documentary and book, I will share with you. I did not close my doors because of that event. my resilience would have built larger. I closed my doors. The four walls of the church, the building itself, we discontinued that. I meet once a month, not in the name of what my church once was, not in the name of love and liberty. I never wanted to pastor, never wanted to be in charge. When I took on Love and Liberty as a lead pastor, I needed to protect what I had, and I needed to be responsible to it. And I didn't want to have to leave home to always have to do that. And it is no discredit to anyone who was holding service in Houston. I needed something that I thought I could find in the safety of my own care. And I surrounded myself with that so that I wouldn't continue to come home to feel I was going to be damaged. And so I did that. And I made it another place for other people to feel safe. That's all. And we called it Love and Liberty. Maybe it was a hangout. I didn't structure it.
Yeah, no, it's great.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you define the four walls of really building fellowship and building community.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's really all I wanted to do. And there's so much more that comes with the responsibility of that. See, I wasn't taught that either. You can't just gather and say you got your church going. A lot of people haven't been taught that either. That's why they're called storefronts. I don't mean any harm.
Yes.
You would think now, as bad as we need to be the kingdom in the earth, that some of these smaller situations would just gather under one big roof and let's say one thing about God as the Holy Spirit would lead. But, we all have different versions of him, and until we can do better, we won't.
There's only one Kim Burrell in the entire earth.
I hope so.
I am so grateful. Seriously. I'm grateful. I love you for no reason. It's not for what you've done, it's just for who you are.
That's right, in all of its glory.
No, I want you to know that you are a national treasure.
Thank you.
And
Thank you, Dr.
your
Bryant.
throat is a harmonica, and I'm just grateful to breathe the same oxygen as you.
Thank you.
Thank you for not surrendering. Thank you for not disappearing.
I don't know how.
Thank you for not shrinking.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for standing out loud.
I must.
I'm appreciative. We're going to go into our inner circle. For those of you who are subscribers, you're going to want to follow me across the hall and be a part of this conversation. My wife is getting ready to leave. She's got to run. And so because she's getting ready to run, we're going to talk about in this private meeting how Kim Burrell was introducing me to Whitney Houston and what happened. Thank you all for hanging out with Jamal Bryant. Let's be clear, and we'll see you next time.